Hello and welcome to another video on the channel. In this one, we're going to be looking at multi-tools, in particular these three tools that are pretty common choice for people to, when you choose multi-tools, you probably are looking at some of these. More often than not, you're looking between something with pliers, without pliers, with scissors, and this kind of stuff. This is, as you can see, with a fork and a spoon. But we'll compare all three of them. This is the one that I carry. As you can see, is the smallest one. Not the lightest. I think this one is the lightest. But they're pretty much, yeah, this one might be the lightest one. But this one is pretty full metal. This one has less tools and it's a little thinner. And also, spoon and fork are not that heavy as well. Metal, I think it's a little bit lighter on this one than on this one. This one in particular with the pliers is the heaviest one, and one of the reasons why I don't carry on my person. I don't carry it at all when I go out, especially if you live in a city. It's important to know if you have like a blade or something like that with your multi-tools, or if you're traveling, even worse, or even more important, you gotta know what kind of tools you're actually carrying in these. All of these have a blade, so just to be clear, they're probably not tools you're going to bring in a plane or something like that, but something that you can go on a picnic or have in your on your disposal in your garage or something like that. So pretty useful tools, all of them. They have variety of uses. They cover a lot of things. If you have all three of them, you're pretty much covered for a lot of things. But of course, for some some things that you would use these tools, there are probably some better options in just dedicated tool, something that does the job. For example, with pliers, this tool, I guess it's okay. It's not the best, not the worst pliers, but for example, this one for cutting cables or wires, it's not the best tool. I think this one is for zip ties. Maybe you can cut a few small copper wires or stuff like that, but definitely not that sharp. Also, they kind of they don't have a flat tip. They're kind of pointy tip pliers, so you cannot really use them too much like this to unscrew some bolts, especially if they're stuck a little more. But you can hold a few things, maybe some hot things if you want. But it's not the best pliers. I would recommend, if you want pliers, have something like this also with you. These are sometimes called Nipex pliers, but these are not Nipex. These are some cheap ones I got online, but they work pretty much for what I want, pretty much the same. So with pliers, you usually would need two of them, especially if you're trying to fix something that has bolts and screws on both sides. So you gotta grip from both hands. Especially now, for example, I was working some plumbing, and I needed to unscrew two pipes. So this one is pretty small one. It cannot really be used for that. So I had to use different pliers and this one, so I can work for that. So it's not versatility of use is not as much as you might think, but will definitely help to have pliers, especially for holding things, maybe some small screws, maybe cut a few zip ties or something like that. But I would say if you want to cut stuff, they're better options, especially with blade. You can probably work out to cut a lot of things more than you would with these. Also, scissors would be helpful if you have need to use scissors. You can grab some, okay, some dedicated ones, some light ones, maybe this one, maybe foldable ones. There's a lot of different scissors that are pretty small, come in a small package. So for scissors, also this one does have scissors, but I don't recommend those because they're really weak. They're not that strong. You cannot cut my nails, for example. It would bend them. so I don't want to try using it for that. You can cut maybe some little paper for for threads or something like that, but I would say it's not that great for threads either, because it's pretty much a dull blade, or these scissors are not that sharp. So I would not recommend these scissors. The At least get something like this, or some the same size or a little bit different, maybe foldable ones. I have a video for foldable ones on my channel, check it out. Also, for all of these tools, you can find other tools that you can carry alongside if they don't work, if the tool that they have don't work well. And that's how I expand my tool set, especially I begin with multi-tool and then see which thing needs a complementary accessory or different tool to bring. So pliers, kind of good, but not the best. Definitely for a lot of things you would use dedicated pliers. Especially this kind of stuff would go great with these things in to go together, right? Blades, I'd say they're pretty much the most useful tools here. Let me see where the blade is on this one. So it has a few things like Phillips. A lot of these multi-tools have bottle openers, blades, uh, screwdrivers sometimes, flathead Phillips, maybe some sharpening uh, tool, or some kind of something for nails or something like that. But this one does have a blade. This one also has a blade. I'm gonna check it out. So it's a little better blade. I would say this is the weakest blade I would tolerate to have. This one is pretty thin, not that usable, especially you cannot pry with this, it's gonna break. This one, it's a little tougher. You can use this tip as well as a Phillips head. Pretty good blade. I think this is the weakest one I would consider a good blade or useful blade. So let's see where the blade here. Ball opener and can opener. Oh, there's a blade here. So it does have pretty decent blade here as well. As you can see, it's a bigger one, but I would say I prefer this one. This one, I don't, it's not, as you can see, tip is a little bit different. When I cut with this, it's not the same feel. I kind of learned to use this one because this is my carry, everyday carry. So I learned to use this blade. With this one, it's kind of uncomfortable because I don't see where it's cutting. Like I cut like this usually. It kind of sticks too much. With this one, I kind of cut like so. So I learned this one, but as you can see, it's a bigger blade, wider blade, maybe a little, yeah, thicker. So I would say it's tougher blade, but for convenience, I would choose this one. So that's one thing. Knives, I guess, are essential for these multi-tools, but not in multi-tools. Of course, you want other tools as well. Not the only thing you would use. This one, for example, has this corkscrew, and this one also has one. So these two have that. This one doesn't, and that's one difference between these two. Also, all of these are pretty good steel. I did see this one probably the worst steel, but I did see all of these tools in worse steel. So you gotta be careful. Look a little closer to see what kind of material they have. They're built with. So there's options to choose with a lot of these. Also, as you can see, this one has like a plastic here. This one's metal, this one's plastic. So there's difference in colors and materials in those places as well. Also, you can see this thing comes apart, and that's by design, because when you get you can separate, you can separate spoon and fork So when you eat, you can use both. I don't know. I like that. I mean, you can use it. You don't have to do it. I mean, when you use one of these, you can just fold one, and it's a little tougher to, a little messy to. Yeah, there we go. Now it's locked. So a little weird feature, I guess, because I would say you use like one of these. But for fork and spoon combo, I think it's great. As you can see, it's kind of full size teaspoon, and this one is pretty good 3-prong fork. So yeah, they're good material as well, stainless steel. So pretty comfortable using these. Kind of learn those, or I did learn using those. And there's a lot of combos for EDC with you know, sporks, with, you know, spoons that have little cutouts, maybe for with a little bit serrated edge or something like that. But I'd say this one is fine too. So this is the one I would like. I like the feel of metal when I'm eating, and it's not that difficult to clean. Definitely take care of these sections here, because they can, you know, a lot of food can come inside, but just wash that, I guess. It's you can clean it pretty easily, I'd say. What to say about these? This is pretty heavy one. As you can see, it's pretty much like double the size of both of these, but it's pretty useful as well. It does have a lot of useful tools. It doesn't have scissors. It doesn't have spoon and fork, but still pretty useful tool. Unfortunately, too heavy for pocket carry. Cannot, you know, carry in a wallet or something like that. This one, I think it's the heaviest one I would consider everyday carry for, you know, on my person. Or this one, of course, this might be a little lighter. So, but the thing is, this, for this one, you would need some kind of bag or something, because, you know, you would eat with this. So keep that in mind to have these clean. Let's see the size of these. Hope you can see this is a in metric, about 9 centimeters. This one is like 10.5 centimeters. This one about 10 centimeters. So this one a little longer, or in inches, you can probably see here, about three and a half, about 4.2 or something like that. Oh, about 4, right? So this one's a lot thicker as well. You can see 5, 2.5, about 3.5 with spoon sticking out. It's kind of weird looking, this one, for a multi-tool. It's kind of irregular shape. This thing pokes. It cannot really carry in the pocket, although it's kind of good weight. You can by weight consider it carrying in the pocket, but of course, for things that you would use to eat, take a little more care. And what else to say about these? Like, I have this and this in my car, in a bag, so it's like tool when I need them. This thing I carry on me, just pretty useful for a lot of things. I like the knife. That's like 99% of the use. Sometimes still is screw, but I do like having dedicated tools. They work really well. Also complement greatly with a primary tool on these multi-tools. For example, you can use a knife here and maybe a spoon or a fork, you know, to eat. So yeah, they complement, add each other, functions pretty well. So great tools, especially like knife. When you use a knife here, it's pretty comfortable. When you use a knife here, I mean, it's not comfortable at all, but it's usable, not comfortable, I guess. Scissors, one of the tools that are pretty common. I would say these scissors here are not great. I would consider using some foldable scissors, this kind of size, or, you know, less, or foldable, because this one just not gonna cut it. It's not usable. So there's scissors in this combo, but it's not usable. Anyway, what else to say? Like you can have this as on a keychain or something like that, but I guess too heavy. I don't consider that. So there's that option. This one definitely not. You can carry in a pouch or something like that. These two, but this one, you can carry in your pocket. Pretty nice. It does have a really strong form. It's you can sink nails with these, just as these, maybe do a little hammering of nails or something like that in occasions. But the thing is about multi-tools, if you want to work on something, think of it as you want to do something for real, right? You don't want to play. You have a need to use something. You want tools that will do the job. So I don't consider a tool to be a tool at all if it cannot do anything, especially a thing that's designed for. So a lot of these multi-tools suffer from not being able to do a lot of things. I'd say can opening, bottle opening, that's no problem for all of these. Cutting knives are pretty solid, I'd say, on all of them. Blade, this probably has the weakest one, this one has the strongest one. But all usable blades, of course, in variety of use. You can find some where these will not do great or at all. So when you need some tougher knives or something like that, especially for prying, these knives I don't think they're great for prying something with. You will need a really tough knife for that. So I would say avoid. You're gonna break a lot of these tools. They're not built strong. They have weak points, so you can damage them pretty easily if you put your strength, your weight into when you're working with them. So, but of course, when you're eating, you don't really want to force too much. So this combo will do. It's a great build quality, I'd say, for this one. All right, that's it. I guess I'll leave a like, subscribe. I will leave a link in description for these or similar, so you can check it out. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.